Hey everybody, welcome to another moment on the Topher DeLancy podcast. Today on this little episode, I am just going to give a breakdown of what is to be expected from this show. And the first thing that you can expect from this show is that it's not actually really a show, it is a life. So I am going to be sharing moments of my life in so many different ways. Now, sometimes this is going to be, a traditional interviewing style podcast show where I'll be having conversations with different people. A lot of the times, though, it's going to be what I call Toph Talks, which is where I'm basically just like channeling different concepts and, putting it all into a nice little package, delivering that information to you so you can relate to it, ingest it, and hopefully it can impact you in some beautiful ways. So, like I said, it is not a show, it is a life, and I do not call them episodes, I call them moments, because one of the things that we get so lost in this world that we have for ourselves these days is we get so ego identified with our creations, and we think that we have to put everything in a box. Human expression, authentic expression is not something that can be boxed in and made to be the same all the time. We're not the same all the time. We're completely different in so many passing moments. And so that's why I call them moments instead of episodes, because there's so much variation from time to time. I will be a different person from this moment to the next. My feelings will change, my mood will change, my energy will change, and also my awareness is ever expanding. So there is no one solidified way, there is no one solidified self. And so it's going to be a really fun exploration in bringing out authentic expression and hopefully letting that leak over into you, the listener, to bring out your authentic version of yourself. We're always expressing ourselves in every moment anyway, right? We are ourself. There's no such thing as I'm not myself. So it's a little bit of a paradox, but when you're bringing conscious awareness to your experiencing, then you are able to see your reality for what it is. And you're able to, leave things on the table as you become aware of them. So for me personally, at the beginning of my waking up, so to say, when I started to become aware of myself, aware of my observer within, it was because I noticed that there was a voice in my head that would call me a piece of shit. So over so many small things, once I started noticing it coming out of nowhere all the time. And it was like a mantra in my head of putting myself down to that degree. And as soon as, my awareness came online of review, of being able to see that there was a voice in my head calling me a piece of shit, then I flipped that mirror and I was like, wait, who's a piece of shit? Like, who's saying this? Who are you? Because I'm not that. I am something else. I am something more. Like, I'm pure. Like, what the fuck? And so bringing that questioning, that confrontation to that voice, it gave me a conscious decision to make of, do I allow this to carry on with me? Or now that I see it, can I let it go and see it for what it was, forgive and let it depart? And so, of course, that's what I did. And that is, the healing journey in a nutshell, is just doing that over and over and over, becoming aware of something and then making the conscious decision of what you want to do with it. Where do you want that to be in your life? Do you want to carry that with you? Do you want to remain blind to the negative impacts of our trauma stories that we carry with us? Or are we brave enough to, view those traumas, view those things that fragment our nervous system, fragment our mind and our consciousness, and keep us weak, keep us small, and keep us disempowered from our own divinity? So it's just a step-by-step process of just being self-evaluative as you're going along through your actions, like your physical actions, your mannerisms, your your off-the-cuff comments that you make to other people. Are they oriented in negativity, or are they oriented in positivity? That is, a big part of my message, because it's a big part of my experiencing of how much I have changed and grown and shifted over the last 7 years. Yeah, it's about 7 years of just by bringing my observer online and then making the conscious decisions to better my life. And to follow my heart, follow the expansion of my heart rather than the contraction. Because our body is always speaking to us, telling us how it feels about different things. And it's either expanding or contracting based on what we're experiencing. Now, for most of us, we are addicted to living from a contracted place because it's what society and culture tells us is safe. Even though it's hurting us, it is helping the world around you to stay comfortably numb. And so you have to numb yourself to the pain of abandoning what is actually true for you in whatever moment that may be. So we do this in a lot of different departments of our life. We do this in our relationships, friendship relationships, and even romantic relationships. We design ourselves for the safety. We design ourselves for the reactions of our partner or of other people so that we can stay safe. But in doing so, we're contracting ourselves. We are following the contraction because that's safer than being fully true to our authentic expression and how we actually feel at the core, because that's very scary to hold that much power, to own your own life to that degree, and to, just stand fully empowered hand in hand with your all the different versions of yourself, your child self, and your adult self, like standing there together and being this protective nurturer for just what is absolutely 100% true in your heart for you. And nobody else can tell you what that looks like. That's something that has to be discovered through your own experiencing. So for me, even with creating this podcast, the sole reason why I am creating this and moving forward with it and putting in all of the time and work and energy to create this and to continue to shift and grow and build it to be the most authentic artistic expression I possibly can. All of that is because it makes my heart feel good. It is an expansion for me. It is a yes. It's, oh, yes, okay, I get to actually share vulnerably, transparently, in a new way with people. That's worth it to me. My body is telling me, yes, 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 go forward. And so I'm following that. I'm listening to that. That is the guide in my life that I bow to, because our body knows, our body is telling us what is for us, what is not for us. And it literally is all just about the expansion and the contraction, and being able to be aware enough to notice the difference between the two, and to also notice what is an actual body reaction of an expansion, or what is just, our mind and our ego saying, oh yeah, that will fill a hole for me. There's a bit of a difference there. And that can be a trap for a lot of people, because they're like, I am being my full real self. I am being me. And it's like, really, they're just like, placating all of their wounding and, letting the rubber band snap. So it's like the tension or the polarity of so much. So just as an example, somebody who grows up in a religious, like a very heavy religious upbringing, there's a high likelihood that they're going to snap to the other side of that and have very little self-regulation when it comes to wilding out on their expression, because it was contained for so long. So there's a lot of polarities that we get to dance with in this life, and finding out what is actually our true authentic expression is an unfolding, because on the way there, on the road to that, we end up on all these little side adventures of our unconscious patterns acting themselves out. I've gone through so many phases of this over the years of different explorations, or different things that I thought that I wanted, that I thought that I needed, and then learning on the other side of the hindsight, seeing it as more of like a karmic exploration of, oh, I had to learn these lessons, so I threw myself into some hell for a little while in this way or that way, to flush out those unconscious patterns and make them conscious, make it aware, make it seen. Because once we see something, we cannot unsee it. And that's the beauty when going through this whole, process of just being an aware human who wants to be happier, healthier, and more clear, and just like with the ability to just fully feel comfortable in the way that we bring ourselves and share ourselves with the world. I am such a different person than I used to be. I'm such a different person than I was 10 years ago, than I was 5 years ago, than I was 4 years ago. I'm a different person than I was 2 years ago. And honestly, I'm a different person than I was 6 months ago, right? So it's just this ever-changing thing that we get to dance and play with and explore. And it really comes down to finding what fills you up while also benefiting humanity. What is the thing that fills you up that also benefits the world around you? That's a sweet spot for creation, and we're here to live. We're here to create. We have this amazing consciousness, this ability to absorb information the way that we do, to integrate information, to then bring things into the physical, to have our imagination, to take like that right brain and fuse it with the left brain, subconscious with the conscious mind, like taking things from the ether, and then making it manifest in this physical realm, that's all really powerful. That is magic. That's the magic. And so many people are creating from, maybe selfish or inauthentic places because they're trying to get something out of it. So what can occur, what can happen when we're creating just to express, just to create? That is art. And our entire life should be a work of art. And that's what I'm hoping for this podcast as it grows and evolves, to be an entire body of a bunch of different moments that then end up painting an entire picture. And so we'll just have to see where that goes from here, right? And so I'm really grateful to have you here with me, listening and feeling. It is a trip to even conceptualize, to think about. I posted videos on my YouTube last week, and I was watching the numbers, like the viewership numbers go up, and it was like 20 and then 40 and 60 and then 100, and just like watching that and just being so grateful for all of it, because if I was sitting in a room with 40 people, that's amazing. Sitting in a room with 40 people sharing your message and being heard, that is incredible. That's impact. That's beautiful. That's love. And there's been kind of this whole thing that has happened with the digital age of we've lost sight of the value of a single person. It's like we're under this hypnosis of, if it's not 1 million, it doesn't matter. And that's just insane. We are so powerful on our own, even as singular individuals. And then when we come together and we can find community with each other, even if that's just listening to someone for 20 minutes, getting onto the same wavelength with each other, diving into someone's frequency, resonating with that frequency, and then amplifying that same frequency. That's all really powerful stuff. That is the creationary magic that this world was founded on. And so it's just really beautiful to be in the pursuit of an authentic endeavor with the goal of just having a positive impact on the world around me. So when I say experiment, I really mean it. Like, I really feel like this is an experiment in expression and in interconnected community, to see if maybe we're not as alone as we may think we are. So it's really exciting to have a podcast where I can just talk and go and flow and put it out without the cultural barriers that come with social media, that come with Instagram, feeling like it has to be a certain way, or feeling like it just doesn't matter anymore because the experience has become so diluted. And now all of that can just be, those are just perspectives. That's not one singular truth. That's just different viewpoints on it. But the fact that I've found a medium where I can bring myself and connect, it's just beautiful. And it's simple, as all things should be.